Okay.
Hello, welcome to Chitchat with Ella and Umu. We are your hosts, Ella.
And Oumou. And today we'll be talking about romantic relationship. And I will let you
Begin. I guess from the
begin.
perspective of someone who's single versus someone who's in a
Exactly.
romantic relationship and kind of getting the different perspectives. It's not going to be long. It's just going to be sharing our personal experiences and kind of some of our views. So take it with a grain of salt. Okay,
Yes.
so let's begin. I think when I reflected on this topic, I wrote a couple of points, and the first one that I wanted to start with is that getting involved in relationships is like a personal choice, an experience, and I think especially since it feels sometimes that you are expected to be in a relationship. I think coming from someone who's single and in her late 20s, I feel like it's like, oh, you have to be in a relationship, but I feel like it should be a choice. It should be like you are ready and like you find someone that you connect with.
Yeah.
And then you go on from there. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the same. From the perspective of somebody who's married. Because in quotation, we come back to that, is for me, as I say, I am always just going with the flow and following the waves. And being married is not because it's like I've done it because society say it's something that must be done, or like it's like the end goal. Exactly, being married is not really like the end goal. It's like an additional step in the relationship. And as you said, like really being in a relationship is just about the feeling, and it shouldn't be because you must be with someone. The companionship is good, but it's not necessarily for everybody. Like everyone doesn't have to be in a relationship to feel fulfilled or to feel to have companionship. You can be single and then be having fun from left and right. It's okay. And
I think last time I think relationship is like kind of friendship with sex.
Yes. Because what's the difference?
The sex is the difference. And I think you brought up a point that kind of like you find someone and you find companionship, but then companionship can be found in like different places, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in a romantic setting. And that's not say that there's not like a benefit to being in a romantic relationship. Is that some of the things that one gets from a romantic relationship one can find in other spaces. It might not be the same, but it's still something that you can get. And that's it's like a journey that you go on with someone. And I think that goes to my next point. I feel like finding someone who aligns with you in terms of your values, and also maybe you have a mission together, like you want to be together, you want to grow together. And I think you just have to find someone and then go along with them.
And it also starts with you defining what's everything that we are saying. Yes, it's like our opinion, but it can also mean different for everyone. Like defining what's relationship means for you. If you just wanted to meet society standard, please feel free. But being aware that it shouldn't be something that is forced. It's something that you feel. It's something that like the main thing, not feeling forced. Because I feel like people nowadays it's so forced. It's like I wanna. My friends, especially this age, you reach this age,
and your family,
your family, your friends are already having like kids, married, blah blah blah. So you feel this pressure, like I must find someone. I must also have something.
Although I was listening to this podcast, and then there was this person who was talking about like at different stages in your life, there are certain like drives, or I don't know if that's the right word, like maybe at an early age, just like curiosity and learning. And I feel like at this age, it's like you want to somehow find companionship. And that does not mean that like. So that's like, if that is correct in terms of his theory, then it means that like there's this drive for people maybe in their 20s to like mid 30s or 40s or whatever the bracket is to kind of find intimacy with somebody. But that does not mean that like you just, at least for me, like you just go around and like find somebody, because I feel like at the end of the day you're going to be with a person.
Exactly.
You're going to be with the person. You're committing to somebody.
Exactly.
Yes, and I think it's
just if you just have a companionship, get a friend. If you just have the sex, go find somebody and have that.
Yes, although that's like a different conversation.
Yes, but it's like you shouldn't go in first like, oh my God,
Yes.
force it, and then it becomes
Because at the end of the day, when you finish, it's going to be you and the person in the room.
exactly. And then you're forced to live in this relationship where you hate
Yes.
each other.
Yeah.
That's how people end up like married and then they hate each other.
Yes. I also think for me, I don't like feeling constricted. So, yeah, I'd rather be peaceful than feel constricted in a relationship just to feel like I need to be in one. And what are some of the benefits that comes with being in a relationship?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, first it's the companionship. It's good, like you have somebody to look forward to going to home to
Yes,
at the end of the
that's
day,
true. Yeah.
and someone to have those discussions. For me, I mean, the main one, having our morning debates. You always,
Mr.
it's
Smooth.
that's what I say. If you end up with, you just go with the flow. You end up with someone that you're meant to be, and then you have a not meant to be. Anyway, choice of words. But that you vibe. It's also the vibe like you vibe with. It makes it um fun. As I said, like looking forward to going home to that person or them coming home and having those ladies like even the stupidest discussion like is even more fun and then being like that gossip.
Yes. I think when you're thinking about it, I think sometimes it kind of like those benefits, I feel like single, you don't necessarily get it because sometimes there's this aspect of loneliness. Like, for example, you come home and like maybe something is really bothering you from work. And sometimes you can't always share with a friend or with a family member. And I think when you're in a relationship, it creates this level of intimacy that, and the other point is trust. Like you trust the person that you're willing to share your vulnerabilities with the person. And I think that is perhaps like the safe haven that is not always accessible in other relationships. Sometimes you could find it, for example, like I could talk to you about almost anything. But yeah, I think there's this level of like trust that I think being in a romantic, intimate relationship kind of creates that allows for you to be able to like share your thoughts and feelings with another person, and they can give you feedback that you trust.
Exactly.
And I think
you don't feel like it's speaking about your character. I mean, yes, maybe at the beginning when that trust is being built, you might feel like, yeah, this person is trying to tell me how. And yeah, I mean, I think we talked about that. Like, you don't necessarily have to figure out yourself first, who you are before you get into a relationship.
I think you have to know a bit about yourself. Like, I feel like you have to know your core because I think sometimes, or based on what I've observed of like other relationships, like you can lose yourself because I feel like you trust the person, then it means you're trusting the decisions that you're taking together or the inputs and advice that they're giving. So if the person does not have your best interest at heart, and then you don't know yourself enough to know that things are shifting or things are not going, then I think that's where like that might be like
but then if you did find a good partner, then they help you learn about yourself more. But you have to be willing to criticize yourself. I think that's the hardest part about being in a relationship because even in friendships, like this person hates me or she's jealous of me. Yeah, I mean, if everybody's jealous of you, maybe you are the problem. You get what I mean? But yeah, you have having a partner who's like willing or like helping you, but what you say is really important, not letting someone's opinion overshadow you. That's also important because people really do get lost in that sense, like okay, and criticizing yourself can also be confused with having self-confidence. You know, it's like this is the fine
there's
line.
a fine line between the two. And so I think, as you said, like you don't have to completely know yourself because I think that's perhaps for me. I think in the beginning I think maybe because of what I've seen in other relationships where like people had gotten lost, I feel like I wanted to know myself. And I also feel like relationship is a commitment, so I was taking it seriously. But I think, as you said, especially as I've been in different friendships, I feel like if you're in a relationship with somebody, they bring out a different side of you. And I feel like that's kind of tango. You need that to learn yourself and grow. And like you can't completely learn about yourself in isolation.
Exactly.
And you don't really need to completely know everything about yourself to be ready to be in a relationship. I think that's something I've learned.
And you can know yourself like individually, but you don't know yourself with
another variable.
Exactly.
That's
why
different
relationships are also different.
Because somebody brings something different in you than another person.
Like by myself, I am good. But it's only me. And if I disagree, I disagree with myself.
The thought that came into my head is like, you know how like, and then you talk about like, oh, this person you're meant to be with. I feel like again, maybe it's not the case because people bring out different things in you. So like how you love somebody one way might be different from how you love somebody in a romantic way.
Yes.
And I think that's also valid. But anyway,
Yeah.
some people might have different opinion and perspective, but that's where I'm at right now. Maybe in a few years I'll change my opinion. I'll let you know. Yeah, and I think that's it. I think what's the other point? I think yeah. Yeah. I think we type, elements of mission, compromise. Oh, compromise.
Compromise. That's a very important topic. I mean, it also connects with what I said about being willing to criticize yourself and to rethink how you think in order to help you listen to someone else's opinion. And that's what I was saying. People say communication is key, but actually listening is actually key in a relationship.
Because you have to listen first before you can.
Exactly, but usually the person is communicating to you, you're like, okay, we are having communication. But if you're not listening and processing what the person is saying in your head, you're just waiting to respond. Because it's like that. Like right now we are talking, whatever I'm saying, you have to process it and have a response back. And that's how we are wired to do. And in an argument, the person is talking, no. You're just ready to respond, and that doesn't work. You just create this circle. Just keep arguing and arguing. But yeah, comes compromise.
Yes.
You have to be really, really, really willing to compromise.
Along, I guess the same token, it's like everybody is complex and everybody comes with like their baggage. So I think it's figuring out like what are you willing to handle, how you, because I feel like there's goodness, right? And there's also like not good, not that it's bad, it's just like it could be not good for different contexts and for different situations and for different people. But like I feel like you have to learn to navigate, and if you feel like it's not working or like it's too much, then I feel like you also are entitled to leave. But then if you feel like kind of the goodness and the interactions you have like outweigh the difficulties, because I feel like the difficulties you have to compromise, you have to wait through, because it's like there's no winner or there's no loser. It's like you are compromising, like somebody's losing, somebody's gaining, you're also losing, the other person is gaining, and it comes from again having the space to actually listen, to really hear what the person is saying. I feel like if there's always a space to create that safe space for people to actually share where you are actually listening to the person, they can get to really see the person, including some of the things that maybe you might have misconstrued or misunderstood, and then you come back, maybe it doesn't still, like it's not in alignment with like maybe how you view things at that moment in your life or your values or whatnot, but at least that's what the person makes you feel, like the things the person like is making you, like inspiring you to do, and like the kind of whatever interactions you have. Again, this is all theoretical from readings and from observations.
No, but you're on point. You're on point, because it's literally that. Because as someone who's in a relationship, sometimes like my partner will have an opinion about how I acted or something that I did, and like it's just voicing constructive criticism, I guess it's called. But then it has to be true for you to feel it. Like I feel it somehow. It's like he's trying to talk about my character. I don't know, like differentiate between constructive criticism and between the person telling you, oh, you're a bad person, or like you're crazy or whatever. It's really hard. And reaching that level is having this level of trust in that person, that he knows me enough, or at least he's learning to know me, or he's giving me this safe space that whatever he says is not to tell me that I need to change myself.
And the person's not going to harm you. Like the person doesn't have like bad intentions towards you.
So he's just saying this to help me improve as a human being, nothing against me. It's for me, not against me. And I think also, as I say, it's the trust and how the person also voices it out. Because some, it can come from a place of being narcissistic or whatever, or think they're better, and then you feel bad that, okay, he thinks it's always better. Because it's happening, to be honest.
And you have to be careful, I think. Again, like, because when you're in a relationship, you trust, like, and when you trust, you are vulnerable,
and it can be used,
against you. That does not mean that like I feel like mostly people are good. You just have a lot of baggage. So I think the challenge I feel like in relationship, and not just romantic ones, I think
in any type,
whether at work or whatever, is like learning how to navigate those, and still maintain your sense of integrity.
And then again, just really differentiating between what the person say about what you have done, your action, as opposed to your character. Because it can be two separate things. It can be two separate things.
Yes, that's true.
And going back to what you said, like you are two different individuals, so everybody come with their baggage. So be mindful that the person you are in a relationship with is also a human being just like you, who is probably trying to figure out themselves. Nobody's ever figure out themselves completely.
Yes.
So we take that so heavily. Oh my God!
And the person's gonna morph.
Exactly. So
Yes.
the same way he's supposed to help you grow, you are also supposed to help him grow or her.
And that, I guess, could lead us into another conversation that we could have about like the different genders and like relationships and kind of like the expectations that comes with them and kind of navigating that. And not even just, it doesn't have to be like in a romantic relationship, just generally. Yeah. But anyway, thank you.
Yeah, that was our. Let us know what you think in the comments or
Yes.